Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Colleen. Thank you for your patience. I didn't get a video up yesterday. We had our Peyton's boyfriend Landon graduated high school yesterday, so it was a big event for us and I just simply didn't have the time in graduation week to squeeze it in. It's also a busy time for our family because we are doing a memorial service this weekend for a family member who passed away earlier in the year, and so the whole family's coming in. So it's a busy time for us. So I'm going to go back to one of my earlier videos and I'm going to remake it because since that video went up we've gained about maybe 40,000 followers, and so you may have missed this before. And it's a really great, simple recipe, and today I need that. It also makes quite a bit because I'm going to double the recipe because I'm not sure who's coming through the door next or what time everybody will arrive. But I want to have a little something to get them going. So the recipe that I'm going to put in the description box will be for just a single recipe, not the double that I'm actually making today. So I hope that's not too confusing for you. I will be right back after this and we'll get on with this recipe, which is simple and delicious. Okay, I think I'm ready. The crazy thing is I have everything always setting over here to the side so that I have everything in order so that I'm ready to go. But for some reason today, I had trouble scrambling everything together. Goodness sakes, what a day. I think it's just because everything around me is busy, and I'm sure that you can understand and have probably been in a similar situation yourself. Okay, so the very first thing I need here is an onion that's cut fairly finely. I am going to use a whole onion. The recipe in the description box below will have a half of a medium-sized onion. We're going to do the basic things that you start any soup off with. Did I say we were making soup? Oh yes, we are. We're making a cheddar broccoli soup. And this is a simple recipe, so if you're new to soup making, definitely give this one a go because it's delicious, and I'm going to walk you through it every step of the way, so there's no reason for you to be concerned, which means that if you follow along, you're going to be able to make this soup in the same amount of time that it takes me. Keeping in mind, of course, that I have everything all out on the cupboard, so I know all my ingredients ahead of time. I'm not having to run around looking for them, or at least usually not. Sometimes I'll forget the odd thing. But other than that, I don't pre-cut the vegetables. I don't do any of that because I want you to see how easy it is to cook delicious food in real time. And there's lots of people today looking for recipes that they can see in a minute. But what you're seeing is the final result and not seeing how long it took to get there. And I feel like lots of young cooks feel like they're failing because they see somebody make a recipe in 1 minute and then they can't understand why it took them 10 minutes to gather the ingredients and another 10 minutes to ready the ingredients, and then there's the cooking time. So I think it's deceptive. Into this big pot, I'll call it my soup pot, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to get this over onto the stove, and once the butter is melted, I'm going to get the onions in there. Now we're going to use that holy trinity of soup making. We're going to have onions, celery, carrots. So I'm also going to cut up some celery, and I need about half a cup for the recipe. I'm going to wash this a little. I did put it away washed, but it's been a while since I cut a clean cut off of it. So I just want to give it a rinse. And then I'm going to slice up about a cup of celery. I'm going to also refer to my recipe because it's been a minute since I made it. Now, what did I do with the recipe? So to make sure that I'm doing this correctly, yes, I need, in my double recipe, I need 1 cup of celery. You're only going to need a half a cup if you're making it home. But, as I said, I have a house full coming, and I'm not sure what time everybody is arriving, but it's almost noon here, and I can get this ready in no time flat, so it'll be ready for lunch. Now, the onions went into the soup pot on the stove because the butter had melted, and now we're going to start on the other ingredients that we need for this. One of the things we need is carrots. And I think I need 2 cups. Let me again refer. You'll find this recipe way back, I think 2002 maybe, if you go through my lineup. And since then I have made it many times. And it's delicious. And everybody else that makes it finds it that way too. So yes, I need a cup of carrots for the regular recipe. So I am going to need 2 cups of grated carrots. I'm going to start with 4 good-sized carrots, and I'm going to get them peeled here because I didn't wash them. I'm going to make sure that I'm getting every inch covered. There's 1. We have had the strangest weather. Not that we're complaining about it. It's been cool. And that's okay, because it's sure helpful with the gardens to have some rain every day or every other day, just a little bit of rain. And we've had many thunderstorms, and the gardens love to grow when there's been a thunderstorm, so we're watching them just shoot up. And just take a break here and go stir the onions because I don't want them to burn. And here we are, down to the last one. And these things, like seriously, the soup doesn't take long. And if you're going to start out with a soup that you've never made soup before, this is the one to start off with because it gives good results. And we can go through it quite quickly. There's no all day cooking with this soup. Not that there's anything wrong with that kind of soup, because they are delicious too. Okay, let's get this grater over here and start grating carrots. Now, I won't grate this all the way down to the very end. I'm going to save those crunchy bits because anytime I've tried to get them all the way down to the end, I end up cutting myself. And that is not enjoyable. So grate away. I'm probably going to really just guess. I'm not going to measure too closely. I feel like I smell the onions getting a little hot. And I was right. Had the stove a little high, so they were getting a little too hot. So I just pulled them off. They are almost ready anyway. And I started to tell you about our busy week. We are so proud of Landon and what he's accomplished. And he's a great young man that we've come to love. You know, you can't help it when you have a great young man coming to your door every day. And yeah, we're proud of his accomplishments. Definitely think we're going to need to keep this up. Although I probably should stop soon and see what it looks like under there. See what's ahead of me here. I feel like that's 2 cups. So I'm going to stop. Goodness. That went faster than I had anticipated it would. So I'm going to move that out of the way. I'll be making some carrot sticks, I can see. Oh, I got carrots in the butter. Man. Now we need broccoli, and we need, because it is cheddar broccoli soup, we need some broccoli florets, and we need some cheddar cheese. And I really feel like they need to be present. So for this recipe, I buy pre-grated. It's okay to buy pre-grated cheese. You can grate your own for sure, but sometimes when you're just in a hurry like I am, you get away with all kinds of things that you wouldn't normally. Now, I've always made this soup with pre-grated cheese, and I've never had an issue with it melting. Although they tell you that it's harder to melt. They use all different kinds of what I feel like are scare tactics to get you to do things differently when it comes to cooking your food. And I don't consider myself a rebel, but I definitely do things that others may think are rebel. And this is one of them. I do, from time to time, use pre-shredded cheese. We want these to be, you know, bite-size. I hope I think whatever I have will do. I've got the container out, my handy-dandy measuring bowl, and I am going to whack up this until I get it where I need it to be. I've made a lot of the florets be nice and round, and now I'm just going to chop some. It doesn't matter either way. Depends on the amount of time you're working with, whether you want to just chop them or whether you want to pull them apart carefully. Maybe I'll chop that again. So I hope wherever you are, the weather is treating you well. And I don't know, I'm feeling like we're getting really close. Maybe I'll just do this last little one. The weather is treating you well, and that you're not worrying about forest fires or tornadoes or floods. I know some of our American friends are more susceptible to those kinds of things than we are. And when we watch the news and see the things that some of you are going through, our hearts go out to you, because the weather is so unpredictable, and it's one of those things you can't do anything about. Okay, set. I've got all the chopping done. I'm going to wash up. I'm going to relocate you over to the stove with me, and we'll get on with this soup. Now, you can see my, pardon me, you can see my onions got a little browner than I really wanted them to be. But they'll still taste fine. They're not to the point of being bitter. So we'll get on with the other ingredients to go in here. I need a half a cup of butter. That sounds like a lot, but remember, I'm doubling this recipe. And I am going to move this butter around and chop it up a little bit so that it gets to melting faster, which was better for the onions because they were a bit dry in there. And then I'm going to, goodness, just about there. Now I'm going to add a half a cup of flour. If I remember, if I was making it single, this would be a quarter cup. When you're making any kind of a roux that you want to set up, you use equal parts butter or oil and flour. And that will give you the perfect consistency to set up what you need to. So if you're using 2 tablespoons of flour, then use 2 tablespoons of butter. That will set up 2 cups of milk or water or whatever it is you're trying to set up. Now I'm going to move this around a bit because the flour in here needs to be cooked off. Like, flour needs to be cooked. And if you don't cook it, then at the end your soup is going to taste floury. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But it's not a finished taste, and you can definitely taste it. So let's gather up some of these other ingredients and get going. Now, in here next, feel like this is good, I'm going to start adding chicken stock. And to this recipe, I need 2 cups for the single. I'm doubling it up. And I'm just going to add a little. And I am going to stir it because we don't want it to end up all lumpy. So we're just going to add the liquid a little bit at a time. Time for a little more. And this is how you keep doing it. That way you won't end up with a lumpy product at the end of it. It gives the flour a chance to hydrate. That's what we're doing actually, is hydrating the flour. And because flour is dry, when we hydrate it, it becomes sticky. And you just keep adding to it. This is a step you don't want to rush because it's important to get it all in there. Okay. Now I'm feeling like I can add a little more. Goodness. It won't be long, folks, and we'll have this all ready to go. From start to finish, you can do this recipe. Once you have everything out, okay? Once you have everything out on the counter, you can do this recipe within 30 minutes. And that's preparing the vegetables. And depends on how good your hands are, whether you're able to cut and chop well. You could definitely just chop the broccoli more than I have, rather than taking the florets apart. And you could buy the shredded carrots at the store. So there's ways you can hurry this up for yourself. I can feel, the flour trying to stick to the bottom here. So I'm going to do a bit of scraping to make sure we're getting all the yummy bits off the bottom and to make sure that the flour is not going to stick to the bottom of the pot. I'm also going to turn it down because the high heat on the bottom of the pan is not helpful. Now I used regular chicken broth in this recipe, not low sodium. So at this point I'm definitely not adding any salt to it because, you know, the chicken stock can be quite salty. So let's not do that right now. As soon as this comes to a bubble, I'm going to start adding the rest of the ingredients. Now you can see little bubbles rising. And at this point I'm going to add milk. So for my doubled up recipe I need 2 cups of milk. For your single recipe, which again is in the description box below, you only need 1 cup of milk. And now we'll add the vegetables. So first off, I'm going to add all the broccoli in. And then I will grab the rest of the veggies. So here we go with the celery and the carrots. And all into the pot. And I'm going to give this a good stir. There will be some juices that are extracted from the vegetables. So this won't be quite this thick, which is good because we're going to put quite a bit of cheese in here. So we don't need to have it too thick at this point in time. I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down so it's just simmering, and it will simmer about 20 minutes. Just until the vegetables are all really soft. That's what we want. Well folks, I've just mixed in 4 cups of cheddar cheese. And this soup is smelling delicious. I took the pot off the stove and shut the stove off because you don't need the stove on to make the cheese melt. And I'm just going to ladle some into a bowl and get ready to enjoy this delicious soup. It's a family favorite, and I think if you try it, it'll become a favorite for you and your family as well. I'm just trying to organize my thoughts so that I can impress upon you how simple it is to make this delicious soup at home. In the time that it takes you to drive to the grocery store to pick up a can of soup, you can make this soup at home. Unless you live like next door to the grocery store, obviously. And it takes very little talent, a little bit of watching, but I know that you guys got this, so give it a try. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like or a thumbs up, share it with your friends on your social media, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Remember, in the description box below is the recipe. Take care, everyone. I sure appreciate you being here. Bye-bye.